Former South Carolina governor and ambassador to the United Nations, Nikki Haley just announced that she's challenging Donald Trump for the presidency in 2024, releasing this campaign ad.
The railroad tracks divided the town by race.
Okay, so the first sentence in her big announcement, she's mentioning race and division. She wants to bring everybody together, you guys. She'll be marching in a Black Lives Matter event next week, I guarantee it.
I was the proud daughter of Indian immigrants.
Gotta mention the diversity check boxes. She's a woman and a daughter of immigrants. Check, check.
Not black, not white. I was different.
I'm different.
But my mom would always say your job is not to focus on the differences, but the
That's exactly what you're doing. You literally started your campaign ad with them.
similarities. And my parents reminded me and my siblings every day how blessed we were to live in America. Some look at our past as evidence that America's founding principles are bad. They say the promise of freedom is just made up.
I would say the communists that are trying to overthrow this country.
Some think our ideas are not just wrong, but racist and evil. Nothing could be further from the truth. Even on our worst day, we are blessed to live in America. I was born and raised in South Carolina, so I have seen the very best of our country. People here threw out the old, tired political establishment and demanded accountability for their tax dollars.
She needs some training in how to read a teleprompter because this is already an extremely boring announcement. Contrast this to Donald Trump's announcement back in 2015 for the 2016 election when he made a glorious entrance in his own massive skyscraper, by the way, by coming down the famous escalator with his lovely, beautiful wife. By the way, I'm switching things up. I'm going old school. Instead of holding this video and releasing it tomorrow morning, I'm just releasing it as soon as I'm finished with it. And that's how I used to do things, but I think I've kind of gotten into a mode and might be spending too much time scripting out everything and finding all the clips and editing them, putting all this time into the production when I'm going to try old school, just stream of consciousness type of videos. And that's why I'm not using the webcam in this one. I'll still do, my in-depth reports, usually once a week. And the webcam will mock the liberal lunatics and the celebrity scum. But sometimes I just want to try something different because having the camera there looking at me, it makes me self-conscious. And so if I can just do a stream of consciousness while I'm just looking at this stuff and just sort of verbalizing everything that's going through my mind, I might be able to put out more content and more raw content instead of feeling like I need to write up a 3-page outline and mention every little thing that I want to say in the video to make sure I make all my points. So just trying something a little bit different. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. I wonder if she's going to brag about how she signed a bill banning the Confederate flag from the South Carolina Capitol.
Republicans have lost the popular vote in 7 out of the last 8 presidential elections.
Yes, because our country's filled with absolute morons, and the culture warrior leaders have been slowly veering off to the left.
That has to change. Joe Biden's record is abysmal, but that shouldn't come as a surprise. The Washington establishment has failed us over and over and over again.
The same establishment that you are a part of.
It's time for a new generation of leadership.
It is, and you're the old generation. You should retire. Go become a commentator on MSNBC or even Fox News.
China and Russia are on the march. They all think we can be bullied.
Yeah, and I'm sure that you will be able to stand up to them.
Kicked around. You should know this about me.
You should hire a woman. She'll help prevent World War III.
I don't put up with bullies. And when
Oh, I thought she was going to say I don't put up with BS. No, that would have been a bold statement.
you kick back, it hurts them more if you're wearing heels. I'm Nikki Haley, and I'm running for president.
I'm a woman. I'm a non-white woman. Please vote for me. On her website, she has her record of results where there's a paragraph dedicated to a variety of different topics, from creating jobs to standing up for the unborn and supposedly cracking down on illegal immigration. And it is very interesting that the longest, most in-depth reason of why she should be voted for president is defending a foreign country. She says here that as governor, she signed the first anti-BDS legislation in the country. If you're not familiar with that, that means that if you own like a construction company and you criticize one specific certain foreign country, then the government will never give you contracts. You can't do any work. So you can't do construction, you can't build the roads. You automatically are then banned from working for the government. South Carolina Senator Tim Scott is also rumored to be throwing his hat into the ring soon. Same with Mike Pence. And you may recall, was it like a month or two ago, that somebody filed paperwork with the Federal Election Commission that he was supposedly throwing his hat in and running. And then his staff came out and said that filing is fake. So either somebody did that as a joke to troll him, or the paperwork was sitting on his desk and one of his aides accidentally filed it too early before he was scheduled to make his announcement. Of course, the establishment is hoping that Ron DeSantis throws his hat into the ring, so of course they couldn't help but ask him about Nikki Haley's announcement today.
Presidential run today, do you plan on following suit?
Wouldn't you like to know?
Everyone does want to know, and things are going to get very interesting very soon, because if Ron DeSantis throws his hat into the ring, it's going to split the Republican Party virtually in two, and he may not be able to win the nomination. It will be close, but it probably would still go to Donald Trump, and he would inflict so much damage during the primary process that it would drive so many people away from supporting Donald Trump, and he would throw so much mud, the establishment would throw so much mud, that it may be impossible for Trump to win in the general election then. And if, by some reason, Ron DeSantis were to actually get the nomination, if Donald Trump has a series of major missteps, if he has some health issues, if anything unforeseen happens, especially things that you're not supposed to talk about, but even that aside, election irregularities, right? If Ron DeSantis were to win the nomination, I can't see how Donald Trump would endorse him. Donald Trump is going to accuse him of stealing the nomination. A large base of Trump supporters are just not going to vote. Like I said, there's really no easy path forward at this point for the Republicans and for the Democrats, because the Democrat establishment does not want old Joe to run. Old Joe is so delusional that he thinks he's going to run. And now that Donald Trump said that he's running, there's no easy way out for old Joe. Now, if Donald Trump said that he's enjoying retirement and he doesn't want to get back into the swamp, that would have been an easy out for Joe, because he could have said, hey, you know what, I wanted a rematch and he's a chicken, and all I wanted to do is prevent Donald Trump from becoming the president, and I did that, I've achieved it, so I'm going to retire too. But now that Trump has announced that he's running, Joe Biden is going to look like a coward if he ducks out. And if he announces that he's going to run again, it's going to be unprecedented, because he's going to have massive challengers, big name challengers, unlike in 2016 when Hillary announced and the DNC told every viable competitor not to run. And so a bunch of no-name, I don't want to call them losers, but a bunch of no-name, they were losers, threw their hat into the ring. And Crazy Bernie was this like dark horse they never expected to gain traction with the youth and with the socialists. So can you even name any of the people who ran against her? Most people can't, because they were literally a bunch of no-name guys, because they didn't want to have, a legitimate challenger beating her up during the primary and potentially beating her like Obama did back in 2008. It was Hillary's turn. Subscribe to my channel if you're new here and leave a comment what you think about my stream of consciousness, sort of a visual podcast format. You know, with so much going on, a lot of times I create this in-depth outline about topics that I want to cover, and then 2 or 3 days goes by, or even the next day, and then it kind of feels like old news because the news cycle travels so fast. So I might go back to old school, back to my roots, and just start doing these sort of raw, off the top of my head, visual podcast videos, and then just releasing them as soon as I'm done. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Stay tuned, and I will see you soon.